welcome to Your Rights on Trust TV, the program dedicated to educating and empowering you with the legal knowledge you need to understand and protect your rights. I am Hawa Usman, your host, and I am delighted to guide you through today's important topic. Every day we buy goods and pay for services, but what happens when the product is defective or the service is poor? Today we are discussing consumer rights in Nigeria, what the law says, how to enforce your rights under the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act, and the role of the Public Complaints Commission in helping you seek redress. To help us unpack these issues, I am joined by Barrister Charles Ndukwe, a legal practitioner and consumer rights advocate. But before we delve into today's discussion, let's hear what some Nigerians are saying about this.
Nigerian consumers are left at the mercy of the service or product providers, because at every point in time we have been, our rights have been bastardized, our rights have been trampled upon. But the most critical problem is that, first of all, Nigerian consumers don't even know the right because of lack of sensitization.
There are times where I buy certain goods and when they are damaged or they are expired, I don't even know what to do about them. So I normally dispose of them. And if I know the relevant authorities that are in charge of this and where their offices are situated within the environment that I live in, I think I can address my grievances in the appropriate direction.
There is a particular product of which I bought from the market. I ordered it from Onitsha, and when the product got to me, I called. It's a battery. When the product got to me, I called the supplier. I said, this product you sent at delivery, this product is not even picking, it's not even working completely. He said, no, this was what they checked it. That was I not the one that broke the seal, that there is nothing he can do about it. To let you know, I let it go. But that was a huge aspect of money.
Yes, these rights are enforceable. In fact, we have the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Tribunal that enforces these rights. So number one, when a customer is aggrieved or his rights are violated by a manufacturer or producer, such a person has a right to lodge a complaint to the
Welcome, Barrister Charles Ndukwe.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
My pleasure too.
So let's start from the beginning. What are consumer rights, and why are these rights important under the Nigerian law?
Okay. Consumer rights are legally recognized entitlements and protection that are given to persons who purchase goods or services in Nigeria in order to avoid unfair practices or exploitation by businesses. Consumer rights are important, very, very important in Nigeria, because it gives the consumer maximum satisfaction, or it ensures that the consumer gets maximum satisfaction for the goods or services in terms of quality, and it also helps to enforce market standards.
Thank you. I know that just like we have different, like you said, goods and services, there are lots of goods out there that people, Nigerians buy, and there are a lot of services that they also order for. So what are some of these laws that protect the rights of consumers as they go about purchasing both goods and services?
Okay, let me start with the major one, which is the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act of 2018. Yes, which also established the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission and also the tribunal. Yes, then aside this major one, there are also other specialized other laws establishing specialized agencies for special subjects, like the establishment law for the Standards Organization of Nigeria enables the Standard Organization of Nigeria to enforce standards in terms of the quality of goods and services, and even in terms of measures too, measurement. So now, also you talk of the National Agency for Food, Drug Administration and Control, which is NAFDAC. NAFDAC, by its establishment law, also regulates the quality of foods and drugs in order to protect consumers,
Yes.
especially from counterfeit
Drugs.
fake drugs,
Yes,
and also
counterfeit
safe
and fake
food.
drugs.
Yes,
Yes.
and also unsafe food.
And
Yeah.
safe food.
Yes. So you also have the National Electricity Regulatory Commission. The NEC is a regulatory body that is primarily there to protect consumers in the electricity sector. Yes, and you have the NCC, Nigerian Communication Commission, which also protects consumers by reason of its establishment law from the exploitation of telecom operators and others in terms of enforcing standards. It regulates, it enforces standard in the market.
So for every service and for every good that Nigerians order for, there is a certain law that protects the
Yes, for nearly
Nigerians
all.
regarding for nearly everything
Yes.
that we order for.
Yes, and we will now understand that the general body there is the FCCPC. So
FCCPC.
if you cannot find your specialized agency, at least you can come to FCCPC.
Which is the general body that ensures that consumers of goods and services are protected.
Exactly, yes.
So, okay, we have just talked about the FCCPC,
Yeah.
and then which is an establishment of the FCCPA. Can you walk us through the FCCPA, for instance?
Okay. First, the objective of the FCCPA actually are to encourage competition in the market according to market standard, maintain efficiency in the Nigerian economy, protect consumers, the interest and welfare of consumers. It protects and promotes that, and to make sure that consumers have quality for goods and services purchased, yes, and that consumers have variety of goods and services.
Yeah, so one person does not monopolize a particular product in the market.
It restricts monopoly too. Yes, exactly.
So it ensures that consumers or Nigerians have opportunity to select different items of goods.
Exactly, yes. And finally, it also encourages sustainable development of the Nigerian economy. So now you see that it now established two bodies which enforce these objectives. So the entire FCCPA revolves around these objectives and enforced above by these two bodies. One is the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. Then the other one is Competition and Consumer Protection Tribunal. Yes. So depending on, they have different functions, but they work together as one to enforce the provisions of the FCCPA.
So if I discover, if for instance I order for a product or I order for a service and I discover that this product that I have just asked for or that I have just purchased is defective, what are the practical steps that I can take to immediately seek for the protection of my rights in this instance?
First, you are expected to go back to the product seller or the service provider and make a formal complaint. The complaint can be in any form, but just make a complaint, contact them, and if they do not resolve that problem satisfactorily by your own standard, you have the right to now involve the FCCPC, Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. Yes, they will resolve they will take up your complaint immediately. In fact, complaints are typically resolved, some immediately, some within 45 days maximum. You understand? So you contact them, and then if the FCCPC does not resolve your complaint satisfactorily now, which I doubt, but if it happens that you are not satisfied the way the matter is handled, you can now approach the regular courts.
Okay.
Yes.
So, but in that circumstance, who sets the standard? Because you've talked about if I am not satisfied with the intervention of the FCCPC, for instance, who determines the quality or the standard of what I should be satisfied with? Is it me as a consumer, or is there a general
Okay, first you look at the legal provisions, and you should be abreast with the complainant should be abreast of the laws to also know where any of these agencies or even the service provider or the seller has met with the standard. But if it's not abreast with the laws, you will not know if he has met with the standard. Then secondly, the complainant also should know industry practice. If you don't know the industry practice, you will not know the industry standard. So now, if you don't know any of this, fine, you can still exercise your right, but that means you have to depend on the relevant agencies. That is the FCCPC, and accept their resolution of the conflict, or because you have to know that this is the extent of what you know, and these are experts.
So this agencies that you've talked about, do they work in synergy? Do they
Yes.
work, for instance, if I have a complaint and I channel it to the FCCPC, and we're talking about standard, do they work in synergy with this standard organization of Nigeria and some other sectoral agencies like you have talked about earlier?
Yes, they work in synergy. Yes, and I think the supervising ministry should be the Minister of Trade and Investment. Yes, they work in synergy as government agencies to make sure that all these legal provisions are followed accordingly to protect the consumer, and that the consumer gets the best. And having in mind also the protection of the Nigerian economy. Yes.
Yeah, we'll be going on a break, and when we come back, we'll continue.
Thank you so much.
You're still watching Your Rights on Trust TV. Welcome back. I know that in law, there is what we call sleeping over your rights. So, are there timeline within which you must make a complaint if you find out that a good or services that you have ordered for is defective?
Yes. There are timelines for you to make a complaint. Yes, the thing is 2 years.
Okay, 2 years.
2 years, yes. So it's quite a longer time, given the fact that in law of contracts, the applicable period does not really apply for ordinary contracts. So this is a specialized area, consumer protection. So you must file your complaint within 2 years.
Okay.
Yes.
So within the 2 years of the goods that you have ordered.
Yeah, starting from when you discover them, the defect anyway.
So if there is a warranty or guarantee on a product, for instance,
Yes.
where will you start the enforcement of the warranty?
If there is a warranty on a product and the warranty says 1 year, and
meanwhile you have 2 years within which
yes, the thing is that under the Act, any provision of the Act supersedes any attempt by the
service provider
to shortchange the consumer.
Okay.
Yes.
To exclude itself from liability.
Yes, to exclude itself from liability. So the provision of the Act will apply over the warranty, because the warranty is an invention of the the seller or the service provider. Yes.
So if, for instance, within the period that I have to make complaint, I discover that a product is defective, and I had complained to the service provider or the product provider, is it compulsory that I take a refund, or can they insist to just repair the product if, for instance, the product is something that can be repaired?
It's a very common practice in Nigeria where you see service providers or sellers of goods, especially this electronic equipment,
Yes.
rather than replace, they insist on repair.
Repair.
Yes, it depends on the extent of the defect. If the defect is fundamental, then the consumer is entitled to a replacement, not a repair, or a refund. The 3R: repair, replace, or refund.
Oh,
Yes.
3 R's.
Yes.
Repair, replace,
Or
refund.
refund.
So
Yes.
depending on the
The-
kind of defect that has affected
Exactly.
the product.
Yes, exactly. So if you cannot replace, you refund immediately.
You know, it's common that when people see product providers
Yes.
replacing a particular product, it's as if it's a favor that is being done to the.
It's not a
So it's
favor.
actually a
It's
right.
a legal right.
It's
yes.
a legal right for you to ask for refund or replacement.
Yes, if it's a fundamental defect.
If it is a fundamental.
In fact, remember
defect.
that aside the FCC PA, that we even have the Sale of Goods Act.
Or the Sale of Goods Act, yes.
Which already provides for this. So there are lots of reasons or grounds for this replacement or refund where that defect is fundamental.
Wow,
But
that's
if it's a minor
interesting.
defect, then it's understandable if it is repaired.
So I also know that businesses have legal obligations. Towards a consumer.
Yes.
And then it's also provided for under the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act. So what are these obligations that businesses must put forward for a consumer?
Yes, businesses must make sure that consumers enjoy good quality for the product or service that they are purchasing. Businesses must make sure that the product or service is safe for the consumer.
Yes,
Yes, you must make sure,
for
yes, that it
consumption.
is safe for consumption. Yes, it's the duty of that person that is stretching out the good or service for the market to make sure that it's safe. Businesses must make sure that the consumer knows the features or the contents of the goods or service that we are giving out to the consumer. Yes, businesses must make sure that in case of complaints by the consumer, that consumer is heard.
It's
And
heard.
that, yes, it's hard. Yes, listen to hear the consumer and address the consumer's complaint and give the consumer redress, which comes usually in form of any of those 3 R's that I just mentioned.
How about pricing?
Prepare. Yes, business. Yeah, pricing also is about competition. Yes, if businesses conspire to fix a particular price, then they are being unfair to the consumer, and that is where regulation also comes in, and it's even an offense that attracts fine. Yes.
So
pricing.
So I'm even talking
pricing
about
is-
pricing in the sense that if I go to purchase this tab, for instance, am I entitled to know the price? Is it to
You
be-
are entitled to know the price.
Yes.
Yes, you are entitled to know the price.
So
Yes.
is it to be displayed so that I know that this is the price of the property of the document? There are circumstances where people advertise and they are and then they're asking you to ask them for how much is the price.
Yes. The thing is this: it is a very wrong practice. In fact, it is malpractice for you not to let the consumer know the price. Yes. That the consumer has the right to that information. So even if there's no price tag on it, you are supposed to furnish that information to the consumer once the consumer asks for the price of that product. You are supposed to furnish that consumer with that information.
So it
But when you are
doesn't-
marketing a product,
it
it
doesn't
is
have to be
proper
on
for you
display?
to. it is better if it is on display. But you know that for some services, it may not be easy for you to tag the price. So, but you should have a price range that you can always communicate to the consumer when the consumer asks for price.
So are there penalties for companies who do not conform to this provision of having the consumer's right visible to the consumer as such when the consumer wants to purchase a product?
Yes, there are penalties. Under the Act, there are penalties. Fine. You can fine. That's to fine somebody is a penalty. You can even go to the extent of imprisonment under the Act. Is allowed.
So it can lead to a criminal liability?
Yes, criminal liability, yeah. Even that fine is the nature of criminal liability too. Imprisonment. It can lead to, sometimes there's what they call a cease and desist. That stop that malpractice. That's like a notice.
Like a warning notice.
A warning notice, yeah. I think that's the milder aspect of it. Then, under these laws too, the consumer is entitled to go to court for damages and the court to award damages.
Yeah, because I was coming to that. I was coming to ask, what authority enforces the penalty? Is it the individual themselves, or is it the court of law? At what point, or is it the tribunal?
Okay.
At what point?
It depends on the subject matter and the regulatory agency. Like the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act allows the Commission to penalize. There's even a tribunal that gives judgment. So, that gives their decision based on the cases before them. So you now see that that is the body that handles that. Then you now go to the electricity sector. You see that NEC has a complaint desk that resolves disputes and at times penalizes the stakeholders in the electricity sector. If you go to NCC, there is penalty too. Sometimes you hear that a telecommunication company has been fined by NCC.
So by NCC.
Yes, so it depends on the subject matter and the regulatory agency. And sometimes you hear that NAFDAC has gone to close one shop or one warehouse for fake and counterfeit drug and arrest the persons and even prosecute them. Yes, so these are some of the things, you understand, that some of the ways that these penalties are enforced. CBN too, regulating banks, fining banks, stopping some malpractices in banks, and asking banks to attend to the complaint of their customer. That is, so it depends on the agency concerned or the subject matter, you understand. But like I always say, the FCCPC is the general body.
Of any kind of complaint, you can start from the FCCPC.
Yes, they will not tell you. They might want to. You might want to go to any of the specialized agencies, but if you choose not to come to FCC, they will entertain your complaint because it's about consumer
protection generally, irrespective of the sector or the type of goods or services you have ordered for. There are so many developments these days. Digitalization have come. I can sit in the comfort of my home and order for goods and services. There is e-commerce, they call it. What protection exists for online shoppers, especially with the rise of this e-commerce and a lot of products that you can just see online?
Okay. The FCCPA still protects online shoppers because it protects businesses that are done within Nigeria, businesses that are done by Nigerians, even under certain circumstances, even if outside Nigeria, and importation of services, goods, and all that. So I think e-commerce falls within one or two of those areas too. But then, remember the Cyber Crimes Prevention and Prohibition Act of 2015?
That is also a consumer protection law.
It's a consumer protection law, yes. Even here in Nigeria, we even have the Consumer Protection E-commerce rules of 2020. Yes, specifically. So you see that these laws protect e-shoppers, actually. So we have them. And they can be confident that if you shop online and you're not satisfied with this, you lodge your complaint. Yes, depending on the nature of the complaint, it will be entertained.
At the FCCPC or where?
Yes, FCCPC has specialists too. Yes, if you look at the persons that are appointed into the governing board and the persons that are appointed to the tribunal, you will see that they have different areas of specialty. So it's not like e-commerce is novel to them. Yes, they will handle it. Then you can also complain to EFCC if it's under the
because I want
provision.
to also ask that, assuming the service provider is not within Nigeria, can you also enforce your right against a service provider that is not within Nigerian jurisdiction?
Within Nigerian jurisdiction, yeah. The thing is, it now comes to whether Nigeria has a bilateral or multilateral agreement with the body in terms of cooperation in this aspect.
With the country that the service provider is residing.
Yes. In terms of cooperation, but the world has gone that far that usually the other country where the service provider is will cooperate with the country where the complainant is to make sure that the issue is resolved, maybe according to international convention or according to the laws of the jurisdiction where the complainant is. So it depends on the agreement both countries have. Yes. Even if there's no agreement, sometimes some countries in principle also cooperate in terms of making sure that justice is done where a consumer is dissatisfied with the quality of good. Yes. Recall.
Yes.
Sometimes some countries even go to recall automobiles or products that have already been exported to other countries based on defects and compensate those consumers who purchased those products.
Thank you very much for coming, Barrister Charles. Thank you for joining us today on Your Right. Your engagement and awareness are crucial in ensuring that consumer rights are upheld. Remember, knowledge is your first line of defense against unfair practices. If there is anything weighing on your mind regarding consumer rights, feel free to contact us for legal advice. It's important to stay informed and to know that you have the power to demand fair treatment in every transaction. I am Hawa Usman, wishing you a safe and informed journey as a consumer.